It's been a busy year for Prince Harry. In May, millions of people around the world watched him become the Duke of Sussex as he married Meghan Markle at Windsor Castle. A few months later in October, the couple announced they are expecting their first baby, and just days later they flew to the other side of the world for a 16-day tour down under. But it's not just Harry who's been busy. The prince's hectic schedule has made for a jam-packed 2018 for his lookalike, Reese Witherspoon too. Reese, 35, is almost exactly the same height as the Duke of Sussex, 34, and nearly the same age, as well as sporting the same head of red hair. Friends, family, and strangers have been pointing out his royal resemblance for years, but it wasn't until Harry and Meghan mania swept the country with news of their engagement in November last year that he started to take them seriously. In just a few months, the Welshman went from a quiet life as a property developer in the sleepy Kent village of Greenhithe to traveling the world as a fully fledged Prince Harry lookalike. He told Mail Online, "Since March, I've been on the side of a London bus, flown to Hong Kong to play Harry at a millionaire businessman's birthday party, and been on live TV. It's surreal. I never used to think much of it when people would stare at me at weddings and tell me I looked like Prince Harry. Most lookalikes don't see the resemblance between them and the person they're impersonating. But the more photo shoots I do and the more pictures I look at, sometimes I have to ask myself, is it me or is it him?" While there's only one Meghan for Harry, Reese has worked with as many as 6 in his new part-time job as a Harry doppelganger. He is signed up with 6 agencies in the UK, as well as ones in the USA, Germany, Belgium, and Holland, which have sent him on jobs the length and breadth of Britain and overseas. Reese says it all started 7 years ago, explaining, "From around 2011 people have been coming up to me in the street telling me I look like Prince Harry. My family and friends have always said it a lot as well. So I decided to get in contact with a few agencies for lookalikes, but I didn't get any response, so I thought that was the end of that." That was around the time Harry was in the army, so I think they wanted him to keep a low profile, which meant there was no demand for lookalike work. But in November last year, when they announced the engagement, one of the agents phoned me up and asked me, "Do you still look like Prince Harry?" And I said, "I think so," so I went to their offices for a meeting. They put me on their books, but then that was it until about March time, which is when more and more work started coming up. After making a name for himself on social media and creating his own website, he entered a royal lookalike contest. And it was a Spanish woman called Inmaculada Santisteban who he teamed up with to eventually be crowned the best Harry and Meghan lookalikes in Europe. Despite not speaking the same language, Inma, 33, has struck up a firm friendship with her English Harry lookalike. The pair insist they are just friends and will not be following in their royal counterparts' footsteps and entering a romantic relationship. Reese said, "After we won the competition, she invited me to visit her in Seville. We had a wonderful time, but we're just very good friends." Naturally, the week of the royal wedding was Reese's busiest, with him rushing to 6 jobs in 6 days. But it has proven lucrative, with some appointments earning him more than £1,000 an hour. On the day of the wedding, Reese got up at the crack of dawn to get the train to Windsor. He said, "The week of the wedding was really crazy. I was doing at least 1, if not 2 jobs a day." I was exhausted. On the day when I got to Paddington to get the train, someone shouted at me, "Don't be late for the wedding, Harry." I do get people staring at me on the underground, but they soon remember Harry would never take public transport, so it couldn't be him. The impersonator did some TV interviews and was meant to have a spot inside the castle grounds with one of his many Meghans, but the crowds were too big by the time he arrived. He said, "I managed to see the carriage go down the high street. When it was finished, I went back to London in the evening to do a Thames boat cruise with William and Kate lookalikes." Rees's family, who are originally from Cardiff, are very pleased with his new life as a Harry double and are big fans of the royal family. His sister met the Queen when she visited her during her school years at Cheltenham Ladies' College, and his father was at the University of Aberystwyth at the same time as Prince Charles and often caught glimpses of him around campus. But although he impersonates him, he says his son Prince Harry isn't his hero. He said, "I like him, but I'm not an obsessive. I'm pleased he's found someone he can settle down with after all the trouble he's had in his life with his mum and everything." And Meghan seems really nice. She has a lovely smile. With Harry's popularity, Rees says his royal act is usually well received. He added, "Some lookalikes play bad guys. But everybody universally adores Harry, so I'm pleased with that. I usually get a good response from people." The 35-year-old says he hasn't had to make too much of an effort to maintain his Harry look as his wardrobe isn't as varied as his wife's. But having the same features as the prince is more rare, he claims. There aren't very many of us. There are only about 6 in the whole country. But there are a lot more Meghans, more like 20. It's easy to look like her, I think. Anyone can have long black hair and look pretty, but with Harry you have to be tall with red hair. I think it's harder. I have to keep up to date with what he's wearing and whether he has facial hair or not. But clothes-wise it's pretty easy. I've been given the wedding outfit to wear, and I just have his blue coat." While being on TV on ITV's Loose Women was daunting, he adds that the strangest experience he's had is having his picture taken with Prince William, Charles and the Queen lookalikes in his swimming costume. He said, "The weirdest job I've been asked to do was sit in a hot tub on top of a canal boat in London with lookalikes for the Queen, Prince William and Prince Charles. I had to wear Union Jack Speedos, and it was freezing. It was bizarre." The furthest Rees has been sent for a job is the Chinese gambling haven of Macau for the 75th birthday of billionaire businessman Kwek Leng Chan. The Malaysian tycoon, worth $7.2 billion, is a fan of all things British and asked for royal lookalikes to attend his special day at a luxury casino. Rees and other royal lookalikes were joined by Elton John and Adele tribute acts as guests drank champagne and then tucked into a jaw-dropping birthday cake. While the security guards at Meghan and Harry's home at Kensington Palace have got used to seeing him posing for photos, they were nearly fooled by his Harry impression once. He said, "One day I was doing some promotional shots for my social media pages when I decided to go to Harry's gym. The bodyguards started to let me in because they thought it was him. But they quickly realized I had no security team, so it couldn't be. It was quite funny." Rees says there is not quite enough demand for him to give up his day job, but with Harry and Meghan's baby expected next year, that could change, and he might consider it.